Hello, world. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, coming to you from the East Coast of the United States, Lexington, Kentucky. The weather in this area today, we have a flood watch until Wednesday, 12 noon, Eastern Daylight Time. The high today will be 90 degrees. Partly cloudy, highs in the low 90s and lows in the low 70s. UV will be very high and an increase from yesterday to 9. Grass pollen increasing tomorrow and temperatures noticeably higher than yesterday. The early part of this week, we have been experiencing copious amounts of rain. And yesterday, the temperature was 79, and as I said, today it will go up to 90. Currently, the outside conditions are good for running, for cycling, and for gardening. And the AQI is good at 30. Pollen, tree, none. Grass, high. Ragweed, none. The UV index is low right now, and there is a light breeze at 9 miles per hour. Today, sunrise was at 6:14 a.m., and sunset will be at 9 p.m. Currently, it is 6:48 a.m. So that's the weather for this area. Speaking of world conditions, in other places, the Philippines has experienced a 7.8 magnitude earthquake, resulting in the loss of lives and buildings collapsing. If you weren't aware, the highest magnitude recorded has been 8.0, and most of the time, when there's been some type of seismographic disturbance, it's been in the northern part of the Philippines. As you probably are aware, this is a group of islands that exist in what is referred to in the Pacific as the Ring of Fire. So they are subject to these type of events. But this one kind of shook everybody, no pun intended, resulting in the loss of 37 lives and buildings collapsing. I do have people that I've met in the Philippines via the show, the side show. So I hope all is well with all of you. And as soon as I was calming down from that, there came across the news another announcement of an earthquake in Cuba at 6.1 magnitude, which reached out as far as Mexico and was felt in Florida. Earthquakes in the Philippines typically reach as far as Japan, accompanied by tsunami warnings. Other things that are going on, especially related to sports, in the month of June, since the last time I was on the program, it was in May, June 12th to July 5th, the 2026 Women's T20 World Cup is scheduled to be held in England and Wales. June 13th to the 14th, the 2026 24 Hours of Le Mans is scheduled to be held in Le Mans, France. June 21, the second round of the 2026 Colombian presidential election is scheduled to be held. I was watching the Steve Harvey's Family Feud show the other day, and one of the questions that was asked of one of the contestants was, name a game that's played with a net. Surprisingly, she couldn't think of any. I don't know when this show was taped, but anyway, let's help her out. Currently, games that are played with a net are the Stanley Cup Finals, NHL, National Hockey League, Hurricanes 5, 2-3 over the Golden Knights. Currently, the Hurricanes are 2-2, and the Golden Knights are 2-2 as a result of Game 4. The NBA Finals, New York Knicks leads 2-1. That was a result of Game 3. Spurs won 115 to New York's 111. Game 4 is today at 8:30 p.m. This last game that was played at MSG, Madison Square Garden, was attended by President Trump, which some sports commentators feel may have affected the mood of the crowd. New York being suitably celebratory, celebrating since the last time they were in the finals was in the late 90s. And since I've been kind of watching it, paying attention, commentators for the show, names that are familiar to you, Shaq, Charles, and the rest of the gang, Ernie and everybody else, including Charles Drummond. So, what was mentioned was that statistically, 70% of the teams that win Game 1 go on to win the series. So, that being said, the Spurs earned their right to be there in the finals for the NBA, and I don't think anyone expects them just to hand the series to the Knicks. So I think Game 2, Knicks won by 1 point, and most recent game, the Spurs won. So the series stands now 2-1 in favor of the Knicks. So that's why it is a 7-game series after all. I thought I would cover some things today other than war and quoting people that just open their mouth to change feet. So, let's start with the world of fashion. For this month, 2026, June, London Fashion Week will be from June the 11th to the 14th. Milan Fashion Week, June 19th to the 23rd. Paris Fashion Week, June 23 to the 28th. And Paris Haute Couture Week, July 6th through the 9th. Excuse me. These are all men's fashion weeks. So fellas, pay attention. You might get some ideas. You never know. These dates are all related to men's fashion. Following the men's circuit, the industry will pivot to the Big Four Women's Spring-Summer 2027 fashion weeks starting in September. Speaking of fashion, Tiana Taylor wants Essence Fest to feel like home again. The singer, actress, choreographer, and recent Academy Award nominee was officially named Chief Curator in March, giving her and the aunties, that's in capitals, responsibility for shaping the festival experience across both the Superdome concerts and the programming at the Ernest M. Morial Convention Center. I'm quite sure Tiana Taylor's space is familiar to all of us. And I think she's slated for an award at the upcoming BET award ceremonies. Excuse me. Again, speaking to the world, here's some news out of Africa. Top 10 African countries where the government makes more than it spends in 2026. That must be some pleasing news. So let's go down the list of the top 10 African countries where the government makes more than it spends for 2026. First up, Zimbabwe. Next, Mauritania, spelled Mauritania. Next is Chad. Fourth on the list is Sao Tome and Principe. That's spelled Saotome with an accent and capital Principe. Fifth on the list is Somalia. Six is Capo Verde. Seven is Gambia. Eighth is Cameroon. And ninth is Liberia. And 10 is Seychelles, Seychelles. Excuse me. So those are the top 10 African countries where the government makes more than it spends for 2026. Speaking of making money, graduations are completed. Universities, colleges, and high schools have had their commencement ceremonies. Here in Lexington, we have University of Kentucky, University of Transylvania, and 6 high schools. So, although it isn't officially summer yet by the calendar, I wanted to remind everyone of water safety this summer. Otherwise, summer begins Sunday, June 21, 2026. So we're still in spring. As they say, short and sweet. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker. That's it. Hashtag